Silver, and I've been rewatching Mob Psycho 100 while we wait for season 3. During my rewatch, I've been analyzing the characters more than I have in previous watches. So let's get right into episode 3, An Invite to a Meeting. Simply put, I just want to be popular. In this episode, we are once again diving into who Mob is as a person, and most importantly, we're getting a look into his emotional psyche. The episode opens with Mob in his new club, the Body Improvement Club, and he's struggling to keep up with them and even passes out, and the lovely boys in the club bring him back to the club room that they're only using as storage for their equipment. They are also letting the Telepathy Club continue to hang out in the club room, since they never wanted to take the space from anyone anyways. They just needed somewhere to store things while they work out outside. Once Mob wakes up, he's talking to the Telepathy Club members about why he wanted to join the Body Improvement Club in the first place. Tomei is very confused about why he would prefer to improve himself physically when he can just rely on his powers to achieve his goals. Tomei asks Mob to help her with her lifelong dream of using telepathy to speak with aliens, and Mob quickly shuts her down and tells her that he has no interest in that. Right now, Mob's main goal that's driving him is to catch Tsubomi's eye. The only reason why he even leaves this conversation with any interest in telepathy is because Tomei mentions that he could use telepathy to get popular by, reading girls' minds. Of course, Mob then goes to consult with Reagan about the matter of telepathy, and Reagan quickly sniffs out that Mob is interested in telepathy specifically because he's interested in a girl and wants to get popular. And Reagan tells Mob that what he's feeling is normal and that everyone wants to be popular. Even Reagan wants to be popular. It's one of the many instances of Reagan not putting Mob in a box for having powers. He treats him like he's just a regular kid, and he talks to him like he's just a regular kid. He doesn't put him up on a pedestal or have him think he's special and different. He's just a normal person like everyone else. Psychic powers don't make you different, they just make you you. After his quick chat with Reagan, Mob starts walking home when he bumps into a cult member for LOL. She tries to guess at what could potentially be upsetting him until finally landing on the right answer. And Mob is so wrapped up in his own, self, and he doesn't even find it suspicious that this strange woman wearing this weird mask is, taking him somewhere. He just wants to be popular so badly that he's kind of letting common sense out the window. He's brought to the cult meeting, where we also get introduced to one of Mob's classmates, Ichi Misato. She has a passion for journalism, and she's snuck into the cult meeting so that she could write about it in the school newspaper. Misato is a really smart character. She's witty, and she comes off as really confident with herself. And she also, I like that she knew who Mob was, and she was very pleasant with him when she spotted him. She even starts to try to talk to him, about the situation, where she's like, hey, did they trick you into coming here? But before they can really have that conversation, Dimple shows up and cuts it off. Dimple is, of course, the cult leader and a true delight added to the mix of characters we have in this show. Right now, Dimple is working on becoming, the main religion among all of humanity. He's pretty much trying to become God. He's starting up his so-called peaceful cult of LOL, where he's using psychic powers to keep everyone hypnotized into a happy state at all times, against their will, and is forcing them to smile and laugh. When he uses his powers in the form of this mask that he puts on Misato and this other random guy, we get to hear her thoughts about the situation. Even though she doesn't want to laugh or smile, she's doing it anyways, completely against her will. She's not in control of herself, and she's scared, and she wants to be helped. From this, we can really only assume that that's how other people in the cult are feeling as well. We don't see their inner thoughts, we only see Misato's, but we can come to the conclusion that this is normal. This is how most of the people are feeling. Unfortunately for Dimple, the mask has no effect on Mob. He is starting to feel like this place isn't going to make him popular, so he decides he's going to leave, which just really gets on Dimple's nerves. And honestly, if Dimple had just let Mob go, then this whole thing would have just blown over and been fine, and he would have been just running his cult, keeping it growing. But because of his pride and stubbornness, he refuses to let Mob leave until he can get him to smile or laugh or to be hypnotized or whatever. Dimple has Mob stay, and they play this little, like, you laugh, you lose game with the leaders of, like, the LOL cult, which Mob only participates in because he wants to drink milk. He is so precious. After Mob wins 3 times in a row, Dimple is seething, and he goes up against him next. But Dimple cheats, of course. He does something to the milk that makes Mob, like, spit it out, and Dimple claims that the reason why Mob spit out the drink is because he was laughing, and this, like, starts to get on Mob's nerves now. He's getting more and more annoyed until he's finally just, like, getting angry. And this results in Mob stopping the psychic hypnosis for a moment on the cult members. Dimple is at his last straw and just tries to outright use his powers on Mob, while he's trying to explain to the cult leader that even if he wanted to, he just can't laugh. Which is so sad. The first time I saw this scene, I just felt so bad for Mob. Clearly his powers are linked to his emotions. It's something you can really you can figure that out from where we are now. So he's become, like, a very emotionless person because of it, to the point that he doesn't even think he can be happy or laugh anymore, like, outright. And Dimple just starts mocking Mob and making fun of him and being just horrible since he can't get his way. And we also get this little flashback for Mob along with the line "get a clue," which will pop up some more later. But we see little Mob when he was younger, struggling to convey his emotion to his peers. And he's trying to play and have fun with other kids his age, but because he's so monotone and his face is always deadpan, they think he's bored and doesn't actually want to hang out with them. And even Tsubomi says to get a clue to him. And after this, Mob gets this, like, chilling shift in his vibe. And again, I'm rewatching with the dub, and Kyle McCarley does such a fantastic job with Mob's voice. He's perfect. And in this intense moment, Mob realizes that Dimple is not an Esper. He's an evil spirit. And he even says, like, I'm glad you're not a real person. And it just gives this, like, I'm going to murder you vibe. And they start fighting, and the percentage that's been, like, going up since episode 1 finally hits 100%, and the narrator gives a little explanation of how all of Mob's emotions are, like, buried deep inside himself, and eventually they get too powerful and overflow. And right now the emotion exploding out of him is rage. And then Mob is so different all of a sudden. He has this, like, edgy little shit thing going on, and he's, like, cocky, and he has this line about how Dimple can try to kill him, and maybe that'll be easier than trying to make him to laugh. And, like, he doesn't even sound like Mob anymore. Like, the character we've been growing to love is suddenly just, like, a completely different person, and it's jarring. And then Dimple is defeated by Mob very easily, and Mob calls himself terrible as he exercises Dimple. It's a conflicting scene. After defeating Dimple, Mob goes to the Spirits and Such office to talk to Reagan about what he's been through. And at first, Reagan kind of insults Mob, telling him he doesn't have any common sense or social skills, so, like, of course this happened. But when Mob seems upset about that, he refocuses and he asks him, like, what's wrong? Why are you so upset? And Mob reveals that he's feeling really bad about ending the LOL cult because everyone seemed like they were having fun and it's his fault. He ruined it. And Reagan tells Mob that he'll talk to him and he's really being there for him. And yes, Reagan is kind of an ass, but, like, he's definitely showing that he really cares about Mob and his feelings. Reagan has this lovely moment as well where he knows what happens after Mob tells him, and he tells Mob that only he could have saved these people, that because this power couldn't work on him, he was the only one that could do this for these people trapped in this cult. Mob obviously gets happy hearing this, and Reagan tells him to be proud of himself. It's very cute and very wholesome, and, you know, we're all just sitting at home going, God damn it, Reagan Arataka, I'm starting to get it. And then the episode ends with a little Dimple revealing himself to Mob. He has not gone. He is part of our cast and we love him. But yeah, that's pretty much it for episode 3. It is definitely more so explaining the way that Mob, like, registers and feels emotion, which is really interesting, because it's not that Mob doesn't feel emotion. He very obviously has feelings and he responds to things in different ways based on how he feels about them. Like, we've seen him blush and we've seen him like get nervous, and we've definitely seen him like be happy at this point. But now we've also seen like what happens when he gets mad, and it definitely shows that one of the main things that Mob is going to have to work on is his own feelings and emotions. Right now, obviously, he's focused on working out and changing himself physically, but Dimple does kind of make a good point that right now, the way Mob is currently, he is going to struggle to get along with other people because he can't really empathize with them outright. So thank you so much for watching. I am having a lot of fun rewatching Mob Psycho 100, and while making these videos is a bit nerve-wracking, I am also having fun doing this. So thank you again for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!